Happy Friday, Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge. It's a podcast that tells it like it is. Welcome to it. If you're new here, great. Hit the subscribe button. Like the channel. If you're not new, like the channel. We appreciate your support. See a lot of the usuals on here. Hit the freaking like, Lori says. Let's get right into it, guys. Major landmark decision. Platone says game changer today. The House Settlement passes. It is approved, and now there is so much to talk about tonight, Jay. We may have to go extra long because this raised a lot of questions. A lot of people might not understand everything this means. In fact, heck, I don't understand it all yet. There's going to be questions upon questions upon questions with different levels. But right now, all we can say is that this is a game changer in a lot of ways, not all for the good of the players, not all for everything. How was I wrong? What was I wrong about? Stiller man. If you're talking
I think you said it wouldn't pass. I think that's what he's talking about.
No, I said there would be issues about it passing. Yes, if that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think you just said it wouldn't pass by July or something. I think that's what he's referring to. Hey, here's the thing. You also have 2.8 billion. What is that? Is it Austin Powers billion? You remember that? $2.8 billion back pay from 2016 to 24 athletes. So that's a lot of people getting some back pay. The other thing is this, guys. You have 20.5 million as Platone puts out. Well, looks like around 13 to 14 million will go to football. That means, first off, you can't do a full SEC roster with 13 million. So anything above that, NIL wise, has to be approved by a clearinghouse.
And a couple of other nuances. They will have to back pay athletes, guys.
That's what I just said.
Ferris says, "Can I get some back pay?" Yeah, that's going to be an interesting piece. And then what Platone 20 posted, Jay, very, very interesting because I read an article, Jay, I think it was on 3. It said 70% of the NIL deals that came from an NIL collective would have been denied in the past. 90% from public companies would have been approved. In other words, a lot of those guys that got NIL deals from NIL collectives, it would have been denied, and then that team possibly could have faced ineligible players, fines, probation.
Well, there's going to be lawsuits with this. I mean, you look at it, possibly Title IX lawsuits because, more money. They want more money for women's sport, whatever. There's going to be issues. I wonder though, and this is kind of what I have to say on as far as just because let me try to figure out how to word this correctly. I mean,
yeah. And hey, what about deals like?
I want to make sure I say this right.
What about think about how to word, Jay? What about deals like something that Stone did or Nigeri Kennedy? By the way, who I'm going to say what I said, Jay. I called it. She doesn't pitch well in big time moments. So
you're right. Hey, here's what I was going to say. Just because, and this does lead to some guardrails, okay? But just because this passed, just because there's a clearinghouse to approve deals, doesn't mean there's going to be other deals under the table.
Wow! Look at this. Daniel Brooks says here. Daniel Brooks says it's weird how they're distributing the money. He's getting $36,000.
We need Daniel to call in. This is interesting.
We need Daniel to call in. Eric Strike only getting $12,000. He is getting a lawyer to understand his low amount. I'm not sure how they're doing it for women.
Daniel, I was wondering if you would get some because I saw when it back paid to what year. I didn't know how much. That's interesting. Yeah, she was out of gas, Tone Low, completely out of gas.
You can't say she was out of gas tonight and then yesterday say she's built for this.
I agree with you. Hey,
she was ready for it.
This is very interesting because how are they deciding how much you get? Based off stats? No. Based off what? What's it based on? I would love to know. Maybe we need to reach out to somebody NIL figure. I mean, I don't know, or NCAA, whatever. I mean, it's going to be, there's going to be more to come out of this.
I would just be interested in kind of what Daniel's heard about the whole thing.
and how he already like got a number. That's crazy.
I would love to hear kind of like timetable or process.
Let's open up the phone lines. I'm gonna go and open them up.
Open the phone lines. And like 918 said, Jay, like 918 said, there's going to be teams trying to get stuff done before July 1st. There's going to be teams trying to add some money to some players before then, knowing that it's going to be more difficult after that.
Yeah, but don't you think on this, and don't you think on the clearinghouse stuff that if say you take something to the clearinghouse and they don't approve it, right? Don't you think they'll just be under the table money going by? That's what it's gonna lead to.
There will be under the table, and I don't know how much compliance will get involved in that stuff, but that's why you got to have a GM like Nagy.
You got Daniel.
Yeah. It's weird how they're doing it. So like I said in there, like I'm getting 36K, Strike's getting 12. I spoke to some of the guys from the spring game. John Michael Terry, he said he's getting like 110. So according to what some of them have heard, if they're basing it off years, so the back pay starts, I don't know if it's 2016 or 15, and they're basing it off that. And then there's some players like Strike and others who were, all Big 12, all American, things like that, are like saying, hey, I'm only getting this based on the amount of time I was there, not on my production and what I could have potentially made based on my play.
Yeah.
Which is very strange to me. So I'm not understanding. And it's not one lump sum. Apparently they're supposed to pay out a certain amount every month for the next 10 years or something like that. So I don't know if they're changing that, but it's go ahead, Jay.
You think there's gonna be a lot of lawsuits with former players?
I think there is. Strike already told me he's got a lawyer and he's going to see if he can get more and understand that. So I don't think that this, like the settlement today, I don't think it's going to be end of it. I think they're going to have to go back through some litigation, and there's going to be a lot of players that come out and say, look, I understand you're doing it by year, but I deserve more than this based on what I've done, what I produced, et cetera, because that's not added up to what I did at the University of Oklahoma or any university that an athlete participated in, which, I mean, it makes sense because I'm just being honest. There's guys on our team that I know specifically who I've talked to who are getting, about 180,000, and it's because they were freshmen in 2016 and they played up until 2020, 2021, or et cetera, but they didn't really play at all. They were fourth, fifth stream. Got in and clean up, duties. I mean, I even told Strike that. I'm like, there is no way in hell that I should be getting more than Strike or anybody like that. Like, that's asinine. That makes absolutely no sense. That I should get more than Strike.
When did they let you know your amount? Like,
okay, so Frank Shannon, we were talking. This was back in December. It was Frank and me and A-Ross. We were talking, and this was back in December, and we were informed to go on this, this website. I gotta look at. I still have it saved on my tabs, and you put in your name, and then you have to get your compliance ID. So we reached out to our compliance, and they gave us our compliance ID. You enter that information in, and there's two options you can choose. It's a figure out the amount you get based on the collective or whatever it's called, and there's another amount. So you put that information in, they calculate it, and then within 10 seconds, they show you the amount that you are required to get. And you had up until, I think it was January 28th, if I'm not mistaken, to go in and submit that, because if you missed that deadline, then you wouldn't get the amount that you were scheduled to be paid out whenever the lawsuit is completed. So I don't know if every player did that, but that's what we saw online and what we were told and everything like that from, via email and everything. But it's how they're divvying it out based on players, and like for example, Buddy. There's no reason that me or some guys I know should be getting paid more than Buddy. Like, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, I don't know how they're doing it, but I definitely think there's going to be more lawsuits, and this isn't going to be the end of it.
Let me ask you this before you get off here, and this is great stuff, Daniel. Appreciate you calling in, just informing us on this stuff.
Yeah.
what would you say is the biggest hurdle of this? What's going to be the biggest issue? Because we're talking about back paying right now former athletes. What's the biggest hurdle you think moving forward?
I would say I think there's two actually. Like I said at the beginning, I think star players that are within that that window to file. But I also think there's going to be players, give or take within that window, the Johnny Manziels, the Deshaun Watsons, et cetera, like that. I'm just using those names for example. Not to say that they need it, but I feel like players like that are going to. I feel like they can't close it out just on that window. This is something that's been talked about for years because, I mean, if you keep going back, I mean, you're looking at players like RG. I mean, I don't want to keep going back, over the years and stuff like that. But I think that's two things. I think it's the star players within that window, if they're not getting what they feel like they earned during their time, and players right before that window are saying like, hey, wait a minute, I'm a year or 2 years away from that, and I don't get anything based off the accolades. I'm a Heisman winner, et cetera, different things like that. So, yeah, this is not going to be the end of it. I firmly believe this is going to take a lot longer, and I think the payout, that's going to be argued too, because 10 years and like 30. What's 30? I mean, somebody in the chat can do the math. 36,000 paid in 10 years. What is that? $10 or some crap like that? Like
a month.
Yeah,
that's 120 months, right?
Yeah, like something like
I got it right here. Let me get my calculator out, Daniel.
Yeah, it all looks good until they start doing it that way, and then it's like,
yeah.
okay.
So it's been a process, and all of us have been talking about it since January. So I don't know how it's going to go, but it's going to be interesting how long this is going to go on.
Yeah,
$300 a month, man.
Oh my!
But then they got to take taxes out, Jay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. That's nothing.
Hey, Daniel, awesome stuff, man. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, Jay. There's a whole, Jay. Where does it stop, Jay? Where does it stop? Like you said, you keep going back, and then think about going forward. And I see someone said, yeah, it doesn't talk about performance on there, but it's just so many things you got to consider now.
Yeah, and I think 918's right. It's hard to base it off performance now. You can't do it like that's in the past. So it's like they had to come up with something tangible, and they chose years played, which sucks for the ones that never. I mean, it's great for the ones that have never played at all. They played 6 years, but it's crazy. But let's move to like now. What happens?
Yeah.
Now what happens? I mean, it's obviously SEC. You've heard the number that some of these schools are paying for a team in the SEC. $13 million is not going to fund an SEC team. You're going to have to go through the clearinghouse on everything else NIL-wise, except we talked about this a little earlier off air, Jerm, except if it's not through a collect. You were talking about this a little off air, right?
I said on here, if NIL collective paid a person over $600, which most of them are, it said those would have been denied, 70% of those. Whereas a public company paying someone over the 600, 90% would have been approved. So and Jay, the other thing, we can talk about the EA Sports kind of thing that came out today. The more that you play the game for your team, the more
they earn money. They earn money. That's wild.
That's crazy. Hey, what a crazy world. But the other thing is, Jay, I don't understand how they're going to manage it. For example, the compliance stuff, like who from the NCAA clearinghouse, who's going to have that much time on their hands to go look at every $600 deal?
It's crazy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of under the table deals.
Greg got dude.
Greg got it. Goes back to 2016. I don't know if somebody answered that for you, but yeah. We got a caller on the line. We got Platone. What's up, Platone 20? How are you?
So I tried to read the legal settlement, and I'm not a lawyer, but I read through part of it. So it's basically based on it's basically assigning the colleges 22% of their revenue can be assigned or shared with the players. So it's 22%. There's obviously going to be lawsuits over that, right? Because a lot of people say, 22% is too low or whatever. Like you compare it to a pro league, NFL and NBA, I think it's like 48 or 50% or something like that. Now, obviously, it's a different deal with college because we're talking about a bunch of sports. But I'm assuming that there's going to be lawsuits over that. So I think it's going to go a little higher than 22%. It might not go to 50% like the pro leagues, but I think it'll be probably higher than 22%. There's also going to be lawsuits over the clearinghouse thing because that's a big stumbling block. And then there's going to be Title IX lawsuits over this, and there's going to be lawsuits over stating that's a legal cap, and it's a mess. I think it'll take another year or something to kind of get that sorted out. But what's crazy is that this is supposed to go in effect July 1st, right? So before then, I see a lot of like Germ said, backdoor room deals going on, because I think like big money schools like maybe Texas, Ohio State, those kind of folks, it's in their best interest to finalize deals now before this cap goes in, because they have an advantage because they can pay out more than smaller schools can. So look for the big money players to try to formalize deals.
Hey, there's a line probably outside the Switzer Center tonight.
Right, absolutely.
There are people right now lined up saying, all right, we make fun of it. Give me my money. That is happening from now until
I don't blame them. I don't blame them either. Because, hey, you bring up a good point, Platone. Whoever on the this clearinghouse thing, what are they basing what you're valued at? What are they basing it off of?
Yeah, it's hard to say. The settlement that I read, the part of it that I saw, I haven't read the whole thing yet, but it's very vague. It just says that it has to be, quote, fair market value. Like they're not going to, like, for example, I think it mentions something in there like, if you let's say you do an autograph, a one-day autograph deal, you can't give somebody, $1 million for like a one-day autograph session or something like that, right? So so it says it has to be commensurate to whatever work or whatever marketing they put in. So I mean that's crazy. Especially
under the table deal, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Anyways, it's pretty crazy. This whole thing is going to be super interesting over the summer to see how this stuff plays out.
Oh yeah,
Wild Wild West.
Makes for great talking points, though. Thanks, Platone.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, man. Hey, let me answer this.
Hey, Jay.
I want to see if Hunter knows this. Maybe
Jay, I was going to answer this.
Okay,
I'm almost positive. I'd say I'm 99% sure. It's the same as it's a tax. It's the same tax. It's not a higher rate. It's the same as anyone who's making income. Like you count it like it's not. It's only a higher if you make more money, I would assume, just like any income. I could be wrong, and I agree with 918 wholeheartedly. Hey, here's an envelope. There's $500 in it. That way we don't have to report it.
Yeah, and then go get your McDonald's bag, and it's not McDonald's food in there. It's something else.
On the corner of Brown and Joe Street is the corner of there's a brown paper sack. We're going to leave it there at 248.
No, Chuck, I agree with you. I know it's been happening. I'm saying I think there's people out there that think that this is going to clean everything up. It's not. It's going to lead to even more. I think it's going to lead to even more under the table deals personally. But
Matt, thank you so much. I'm a sociopath. Thank you. Look at the muscles, though.
What is your deal with that lately?
What do you mean? It's just funny Matt says that. I love it.
It's definitely not right.
Chuck, it's not right. You know my thoughts on this. It's not right. I'm just saying it's going to be happening. But if the sack's on fire, don't stomp on it. There could be some valuables in there.
Hey, football, let's go, man. Football's going to be here soon. You got the camps going on right now at Oklahoma. Big-time visitors. Hey, big weekend, guys. Bo Bentley on a visit this weekend. And, hey, don't you think –
I think they get him, Jay. I think they land him. I'm about ready to surge protect him, but I'm not going to go there yet.
Hey, but listen, he visited LSU. Now he's visiting OU. Don't you think that there's an answer and we'll know pretty soon where he's going?
Absolutely. I think he's going to go there. I think, again, I'm not surge protecting it yet. Give me a day or two. I might surge protect Bo Bentley.
I think sooner rather than later you'll find something out on him after he visits. I don't think it's going to be too drawn out. But you know who I really like, though? You know who I really like? 2027 Peyton Houston. Have you watched any of him?
No.
Ooh, I like him.
Hey, I'm not an insider, but Jay and I are going to maybe delve into the world of recruiting, except we're going to call it surge protected, not crystal balls. Hey, go back to Coconut Greg's point about muddying the waters. It's exactly right. It went from muddy water to even it's almost like really bad Galveston Lake water. Like it's really muddy.
Yeah. Hey, there's a guy. I mean, they got some visitors in this weekend. A guy I've actually watched up here at Rogers, linebacker, hasn't commit. He's uncommitted, but
Hey.
he's there this weekend. Braxton Lindsay, I believe. I mean, so yeah.
Surge protect is gold, fellas. Hey, yeah,
Hey,
Patty did get Sidney Bergeron from LSU, and maybe we'll get Bo Bentley. Surge protect it, fellas.
Hey, Gray God, I'm interested in your thought. I'm sure you've seen some highlights. I'm sure 918, maybe talent. Some of you guys have watched some of his stuff. Are you surprised he's not higher than he is? I think I've read where he's like 8th or 9th quarterback, 2027. I don't know. He looks really good to me, but I'm not a coach either. But it is cool to see Arbuckle out there with all these guys. Finally, a quarterback guy that knows what he's doing. You know, that's the thing that hasn't been talked about much. I know Levy was really good as an OC. I get it. But go look at Levy's career. Who did he have that was like a highly recruited guy that he worked with? I mean, Dylan Gabriel wasn't highly. He got some good out of people, but I wouldn't call him just a quarterback great developer. I think they got that with Arbuckle. I think the next 3 or 4 years, you could have some really good quarterbacks under Arbuckle here. Really good.
Looks like Colin said, hey, we were talking about the House Settlement that passed, if you didn't know that. Colin was at an OU football OVs, he says.
What?
Colin was at OU football official visits.
Oh, nice, Colin. Nice. Arbuckle for head coach. I hope that doesn't happen. That means what? Was he answering the phone? I am so confused. Wait, who were you talking to?
I was just saying, hey, Colin, what's up, man? OVs. Give us something, man.
The fan stop. Hey, you see those shirts behind me?
Hey, you see the shirts behind you? Do you see this one right here? By the way, you can only get this shirt at the fan stop. It's the Toby Keith Red Solo Cup. Check out the fan stop, thefanstop.com. Elite stuff. Jay, Fanstop asked a question. Does Levy have a quarterback in the NFL besides Gabriel? I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think too.
I don't know if he does, Jay.
Playing? I'm not sure. I don't think he does, but unless I'm missing. Talon, I knew Talon probably watched some of his stuff. Should be top 5, honestly, after Jackson was.
Dart?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Talon. Dart, but yeah, I mean, Dart's in
Dart. He was there with Dart, right?
That's true. Dart's a good one. How much was he there, though, with him? And
I don't know, Jay. I don't know timetable. I'm still mind blown that this passed right now and of what's going to happen in the next. First off, today is June 6th. The next 24 days are going to be unreal. And now here's the other thing, Jay.
That's true. That's true.
Everyone's talking about the OVs, huge, important for the recruiting classes. But now there's going to be current players right now on campus saying, stop worrying about them. Give me my money.
Yeah, that's true.
Give me my money. Stop worrying about the OVs. Give me my money right now. And then you're going to have former players calling saying, what's going on here? Like it's.
Yeah, and Purple's right because you remember Venables came in and OU tried to get Dart. Remember that?
Yeah.
So Levy, yeah, that's right. Levy, because Dart transferred from I think USC over to after Caleb went to USC, he transferred over to Ole Miss. So
there was a guy going pro who got hurt in the Ole Miss Baylor bowl game. Can't remember name. I don't recall.
I don't think they have one out there right now. Now I'd be interested to know.
JC or
Now he was on stat. Was he on? No, he probably wasn't on stat. What? Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool, Chester. I like that.
Okay. Now here's the deal. I would be all for this, and I know what you're saying, Kev. The fan stop where it says moving quickly, because if they don't move quickly, I mean, this is just going to go. It could go haywire very quickly if they don't move quickly.
I don't think they're going to have a salary cap quickly, though. Do you?
Multiple year contracts at all, Jay.
There already are contracts a little bit,
but there's not. Matt Coral.
Well,
Matt Coral's who they were talking about. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Hey, man, I knew 918. Hey, but when you think about it, contracts, isn't that why Arkansas is suing for the Lava thing? Because a contract, right?
I haven't followed that, Jay.
Well,
There's not
it is.
contracts right now.
Jeremy, you're not suing if there's nothing under contract. Why would they sue? There's definitely a contract.
Well, it's an unwritten rule then, Jay. Are contracts legal for college players?
Why would you sue if you're Arkansas? If you
Yeah,
don't have
are
anything in
contracts legal for college players?
But
I'm asking.
do you see what I'm saying? Why would they sue if they don't have anything in contract?
I haven't followed the story. Jay, are there contracts? Or can I leave when I want at a university?
Well, you're signing a paper. Well, as far as you're saying, if you leave, do you get money? I don't know how that's
Still
working.
get paid.
Well, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs
I don't
of it.
consider that a contract, a binding contract. Contracts, let's be honest, contracts don't mean anything anyway. Let's change the terminology. Contracts are a joke today in anything. People leave. Coaches mainly. You don't hold up the contracts.
Everybody leaves. I mean, it's just kind of the norm right now, Jerm. So,
phone lines are open. Let's chat.
phone lines are open. Let me put them in there again. I don't know if we pinned it, so let me get them in here.
Big weekend for OU recruiting. I think they land Bo Bentley. I'm not ready to surge protect it yet, but I'm pretty close. I like the fact that I think they're going to get Bo Bentley. I just think the Arbuckle and listen, Jay, you're better off committing now in some ways. And I mean,
why?
Well, Jaden O'Neal's already committed, correct?
Yeah.
So if a second one commits, does that force one to leave?
Well, one of them's leaving. One of them's leaving.
Right. But if you don't commit, the other one's not leaving possibly. Yeah, there's some things to say. Corrections is on the line.
What's up, Corrections? How are you?
I just don't understand. I just don't understand this legislation. Maybe you guys can make the case for me. And I'm not dunking on former players, because if someone called me that I worked for 8 years ago and said, you know what, we didn't pay you enough, here's a free $20,000. I mean, I'm sure I'll take it. So I don't understand what makes college football players, college athletes special to get benefits that none of the rest of the fans that pay the school to give them free tuition, everything that they have in the past, free back pay. I don't understand it. Like, I worked for a logistics company 10 years ago. I was a general manager of a station, made the millions of dollars. I mean, should I be able to go to them and say, hey, I worked for you 10 years ago. I really was worth more than I, was paid. So, you guys made money off of my back. Now you need to pay me $50,000. I'd be laughed out of court. So why do college athletes get to do this now? I don't understand it.
My personal opinion is this, Corrections, and it's a great question to have, because a lot of people should have this question, but this is my opinion. They're doing it to appease so that they don't have to fight all kinds of legal battles. I think probably they're thinking, look, let's pay back to this year, and maybe there won't be as many legal issues. That's probably what I think. But now the can that's being opened is, well, why are we stopping in 2016?
Right, exactly. Right, and it goes
go play
right, and it's right, and it's and I'm not an attorney or anything, but I did go to law school for a while, and it comes down to tort law. They didn't have a contract, when they played back in 2016, 2017, or whatever. It was basically, hey, you're going to play football for free. You're going to get free food. You're going to get free clothing with the athletic department. You're going to get basically free everything. You're going to get pampered. And that's the deal for being an athlete. You get everything for free. And then 10 years later, they come and say, pay me, $30,000. And I don't understand it, man. This world is just so upside down right now. It's like, I just don't understand what makes college athletes special, where they get benefits and advantages that none of us get to take advantage of. I don't understand it.
I think it's more just because they're in the public eye. Like, I mean, I've got an answer. I've known other companies where, like, we had this happen and we're going to back pay people. I've heard it in other not like football. I see what your athletes, but I'm
I've
just
got
saying.
an answer for you.
What?
And I've got an answer for you. I'm kind of reading something here. Daniel says because of the restrictions against them, they weren't able to make money back then. And if you read some things, I'm reading something that says basically it's to resolve some of the antitrust lawsuits where the NCAA was restricting earning power for athletes.
So
Well,
are you saying that athletes could not have jobs during college? I think they could.
I'm not sure they could, because here's the deal: they would say, "How can you when you're having to spend all this time?" Hunter might be able to help in this, but I think, I don't think you could.
The other thing is this, and 918's right. I mean, 918's right about this. They were making billions of dollars off the players. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
right, but you could say that about any industry, though, Jay. I mean, like I said, I worked in the logistics industry, and I got paid $80,000 a year, and I was making them literally millions a year in total net profit. So were they making money off the backs of me? And so I should be able to go sue them now because I didn't think I was paid, the amount I should be paid.
I agree, but it's because they couldn't work. They couldn't have jobs. They couldn't if they went into a showing and sign stuff, they could get no money. They couldn't take any of it. So those are the restrictions, I believe.
But at the same time, at that time when they were in school and they were athletes, they accepted that deal. They went to school at a premier university for free, and a lot of these guys got to play in the league, some didn't, and so there was a huge monetary value for going to Oklahoma playing football at University of Oklahoma, even if they couldn't have a side job or whatever. I mean, you can't tell me that life outside of football in college wasn't good for football players at OU. I just don't buy it.
No, and I see where you're coming from, corrections, but I think a better comparison would be doing your job at the logistics company and getting no pay.
Well, I would never accept. But I would never accept that proposition. So if they said, "Hey, come work for us, make us millions of dollars," and you're not going to get paid, I would never accept that. These players went, to school in 2016, and if they indeed couldn't work, but they said, "We're going to you're going to go to school for free housing, get free clothing, you're going to get all this Nike crap, and you're going to eat for free, free weightlifting, everything's free." But you can't work. And they said, okay, yeah, I'll do that for the next 4 years. Not a problem. And then 10 years later, they said, even though I agreed for that for 4 years, I still want paid. And I don't understand it, but that's just my opinion. And I might just be in the minority. I don't know.
Hey,
you remember corrections. Cause I remember it too. I can't believe where we're at now compared to, I remember out of high school and college, the whole argument was, should college athletes be paid? You remember that? Remember that long few year argument of should college, that was out there. Now look at where we're at. Like it really fast paced to where we're at now. But yeah, a whole lot of things.
And to think this all started over EA Sports and being a player on a football game to where they get a few bucks for name, image, and likeness in a football game, and now it's spiraled into all this. It's just insanity.
Did you hear the latest with EA Sports today? Listen.
No.
Oh, you got to hear this. You might lose your mind. You might lose your mind.
Depending on how many times you play the game with the team you choose, like say I choose Oklahoma and I play it a lot, that team earns money.
Oh, geez.
At university.
So you need to go play EA Sports corrections all the time, baby. OU.
I think that's a sign the second coming's right around the corner because this is just getting ugly. This is getting weird.
Hey, thanks for corrections.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night, Boomer.
You too, man.
Hey, Sooner Cowboy says, I emojis, Bo Bentley. Hey, Jay, I've said it twice. I'll say it a third time. I'm not ready to surge protect him yet, but I'm pretty close.
Well, you've said that like 12 times. Okay.
Let's get surge protection out.
I think we got Platone back on the line. What's up, Platone? You there?
Yeah. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay. So when I was in college, this is 25 years ago. I'm not going to give his name, but I was a good friend with a Division I football player. Both of us were engineering majors, right? Well, I was allowed to work at a company in college called Raytheon. They do military logistics stuff. Well, My friend, who was a football player on scholarship, he was not allowed to do that, even though he had the same major I had, because NCAA said any employment is absolutely barred, no matter what, even if it's not sports related and things like that. I think that's the part that people don't understand. That's not fair, right? How is it that I can work as an intern at engineering company in my freshman sophomore year, but this football player was not allowed to do that? That's what we had to correct. I do agree with corrections that I know that he's saying, well, they kind of knew what they were signing up for, so I understand that they were aware of that, but I still don't think it makes it right. They had extreme onerous restrictions put on them that no other college student had, right? If you're a college student, you can work as an engineer, you can work as a movie star if you want to, a singer if you have talent, and you're totally unrestricted. The university doesn't have any rules to restrict you, but when you're an athlete, all these rules were unfair against them. So I mean, that's why I compare it to. If I was able to work as an engineering firm in college, then so should a football player or a basketball player, or anybody else too. So.
Yep, that's true. That's true. Thanks, Platone.
That's a good point.
And the thing is, you could have somebody on a full ride scholarship in engineering getting a full ride paid for school, but still getting a job.
And Jay, the other thing is, this is about the antitrust laws. This is about all those things. So like 918 says, righting a wrong is because there's been admitting to that there's been wrongs, that there has been things that are wrong, antitrust stuff, the restrictions. So it acknowledges, 918 says, that college athletes are workers all along and exploited under the guise of amateurism. I know we got Greg on the line. Let's get to Greg.
What's up, Greg?
Guys, how y'all doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing very well. Now, I don't know a ton about, all the litigation that came out. But hearing y'all say that the schools can earn money off of, people playing as, their favorite team with NCAA 26. Here's what I know is going on behind the scenes at every single university in the country right now. Their head football coach, football program, they're talking with the IT department to have just massive server farms of PlayStations and Xboxes running behind the scenes, just having bots play the football game. Play the football game so they can just rack up all that money and stuff. So, yeah, there's probably in some warehouse on the outskirts of Norman right now with about 10,000 PlayStation 5s with bots playing this football game to earn school money.
Yeah. Hey, let me read this to you because this is what I was talking about. So they put an example on this thing I saw today. If users play 7 million games as, say, University of Oklahoma, the school's money would be 1%. Therefore, school would earn $50,000 off 7 million plays. So,
wow,
there's the breakdown. It's crazy.
That's nuts. I mean, yeah, who would have thought just a couple years ago none of this really was? It was a figment of our imagination, I guess you could say. And now it's like, play as Oklahoma and you'll earn your school.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be playing more.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't have a game console, but maybe I should get one. That'll be my part for supporting the team. Yeah.
Okay, can we count it on our taxes?
Well, maybe. Yeah, it's got to be some kind of tax deduction for a donation for charity or something, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I logged 10,000 hours of college football 26.
Love it.
Yeah. Hey man, if we can get these blue chip recruits this weekend, that'll be something else. Yeah, we had no recruits for months, and then all of a sudden it seems like the floodgates are opening, which is pretty cool.
Oh, it's huge. This weekend, June 20th, like you've got to land some coming up.
Yeah, I want to see the Bentley guy maybe land tomorrow, and then I want to see a thunder thumping of the Pacers on Sunday. That'd be a nice weekend.
Have to. It'd be a great weekend.
That's right.
Hey, y'all have a good one.
Hey, Jay, going to what someone in the chat said, I like that this helps OU, but I don't really I like the free market. Let's understand something very clearly, everyone. You are outside your mind if you don't think there's still going to be a free market. Please. Not everyone's going to play by the rules. And now people say there's going to be consequences. Is it going to be a slap on the wrist, hands behind your back? What's it going to be? There's still a free market, guys. Come on, let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, and then the roster limits too are going to be adjusted. I mean, that's going to be what 105, I think, for football, correct?
105 for football, yes.
Yeah, 34 for baseball. I think I saw 15 for basketball, men's and women's. So there's the call-in link for you. I need to get a trivia here in a minute, but I'm sure Colin's getting ready to call in. But Colin there with some visits today, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Man, we're already 40 minutes into this thing tonight. Jeez.
I'm ready for football season, dude.
Absolutely.
We got a couple calls.
2 callers. We got let's go to Daniel first. Daniel, remember, called in early in the show, kind of gave us some background stuff on the back pay. Let's go to him before we get to Colin.
What's up, Daniel?
Yeah, I just wanted to call back in and like break some different things down. And with corrections, I actually agree with some of the stuff he said. Surprisingly, like, we get all the free stuff, all that stuff is great. But then I was reading what some of the other people said about, the things that we, like an example being, I knew there was a player at Tulsa who had a YouTube channel. And as you know, if you have a YouTube channel and it gets to a certain level, you get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
It made him decide to choose between that or a scholarship. He chose that and lost his scholarship.
Wow.
So I'll throw that in there. That's that's just a small example. But those are some of the things that us players coming up had to deal with. And another thing that people don't realize, there is different, there's different tiers of players coming in. A lot of the players coming in at OU, obviously, the demographics. I know some players that came from extremely humble beginnings. So knowing about if they can make money, if they can do internships, if they can do things like that, that's not what's in their head. That's not what they're thinking about. That stuff doesn't come up. If you're in a room of a lot of these athletes and you ask, and I'm going to say this more specifically, you ask the black athletes, the only thing they're thinking about is NFL, 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 NFL. If you speak to my white teammates, they're petroleum engineers, they're, computer science, they're different things like that. So they're different. They're thinking on a different level. And why I say that is because I was referring back to, the job that
Platone.
Yes, was talking about. So that's an example of being that. But in terms of the pay, there was times that even myself included, and I came from a well-off family, where it was a struggle for us to eat. Now, we always anticipated we need to get paid a little more, but like some of us said, we didn't think it would turn into this when they were going to get paid. I've always said that, like, we have the ability to get all this free stuff, go to college, but, we don't know about the things that we can't do until we get there. So I would honestly say about 99% of the players don't know that they can't promote certain things. They can't get jobs. They can't do this and do that, or at least when I was there, not now. But so yeah, that's just some of the things that people got to think about when they're trying to understand this. Because I'm always going to defend the players and stuff like that, but I can't be just biased just because there is in the middle, and right now it is the Wild West. Like I said, I always wanted to get paid, but now I'm looking at it, I'm just like, I was just thinking a little stipend a month or something like that. I wasn't thinking that players were going to be out here getting NFL contracts. So,
Well, how does it, I've always wondered for former players, based on what correction says, like, do former players and the ones you talk to, are you guys like, man, this stinks, everybody's getting paid, we should get our cut? Or
no. Actually,
like, is it even that
out of all my friends, we rarely say that. We rarely.
That's what I think. That's kind of what I got feeling. I think some people think that all the former players like, we need our cut, but I don't think that's the majority.
No, we don't. We just, some of us are just, we're in the mindset of, like, Strike, for example, and what he's getting. He's like, the time I put in, I should be getting a little more than that. He's not saying it. I want all these players now. I want them to get their money because, a lot of us players before them, we didn't, get the benefits of what they get now. And if I was playing, you best believe I would be taking full advantage of that. We did get a little stipend of like, I don't know what it was, $800 a month or something like that, something to get us by, which was good enough. But we always felt like we needed a little bit more for certain things to splurge, behind what we're doing for the university. And it's not just us. I know there's, the non-student athletes, but people don't understand really the restrictions that we have. The student in front of the student athlete doesn't necessarily apply to us in terms of some of the things that we have access to. And I feel like they're trying to right the wrong, but they may be that pendulum may be swinging too far to what it should be, and now they're trying to course correct. That's how I feel.
That's
And,
fair.
and hey, anyone who would look, they're the ones that opened it up and said, "Hey,
Right.
we're going to pay." So if it's open, why would you not want to go get yours?
Yeah, I mean that's. I mean, I'm like I said, I didn't go to the NFL. You know, in hindsight, whether I would have or not. If I'm on the team right now and it's what's the date? June 6th of 2025. You best believe, and I'm going to stay within my means. I'm no big time star or anything like that. So if someone comes to me and hey, we're going to offer you Daniel a scholarship or an NIL deal for $300,000-$400,000, whatever my worth is, maybe that's a bit too much, but you best believe I'm going to take it.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Hey,
man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Daniel. Hey, have a good night, man. Hey, we got Colin. Colin, you're on the line. What's up?
What's up, guys?
Not
going
much.
on,
What
man?
you know, man? What you know?
I can't speak much about that. Not trying to lose the job, but
Yeah,
I
man.
get that for
definitely,
sure, bro.
definitely the one thing I can say is there's definitely a lot of big dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
I always get impressed by like offensive linemen because like you see them on film and they're like, okay, they're decent size, but like when you go see them in person, you're like, dang, that's a big human there.
Oh, yeah.
Funny
6'6"
enough,
in
we
person.
actually taking pictures. Yeah, funny enough, one of the guys taking pictures fell through the chair with how big he was,
Oh, really?
which I thought was funny with
Yeah.
how big the line they're getting. But and then softball, I kind of peeked at the game a little once the Texas went up in the first. I was like, okay, that was
That was it.
probably the end of it. But I think the biggest issue with Texas Tech was this is why you need a backup pitcher that you can trust. Because throwing the same person 100+ pitches over and over and over again only lasts so long.
But
You're
I'm,
right.
I'm going to be the
Especially
devil's
playing-
advocate because everyone on here, Jay included, a lot of people said, "Oh, you pitch her every night. That's the way she is."
Yeah, but
And
it
then
does
she has a
affect.
bad game. Oh, she's tired. Oh, she's tired.
Jeremy, it does affect.
Was
Come
she
on.
tired last night? She'd only pitched 500 straight innings. Was she tired?
We're not saying that's the only reason she pitched bad, Jeremy. I'm just saying
That's what a lot of people are saying, Jay.
It would help to have another pitcher.
What are you guys' thoughts on the LSU pitcher? Do you think she
I
comes to beat the
like her
ace?
because I like her because she pitched a lot of innings. I like her because her ERA was pretty down. It was 2.02. And I like her because she's got 2 years. She's just not going to come be a one-year wonder.
I heard like a lot of people talking about like her versus the UCLA pitcher that entered.
Yeah, Terry. I like her better than Terry personally.
Yeah. Do you think Patty goes after a few more people? Because I mean, looking at pitchers now for softball, like we have most people coming back, but then we have number one pitcher. I'm blanking on their name coming in. The number 5 pitcher coming in.
Yeah, they got Alyssa Parker. They already have Sophia Bordy from last year. She would be the number 1 pitcher this year, but she reclassified. And then you have
Berkeley's the key.
Berkeley's the key. So 3. But they also have Audrey Lowry from last year. They got Kirsten. I don't think they get another pitcher, Colin. I think catcher might be the route they go next.
Yeah.
Agree.
But
hey, so you got stuff all weekend.
So
you got
who
stuff
would
all weekend?
early? What did you say?
I said you got stuff all weekend keeping you busy there.
Yeah, I actually got to get up 8:15 tomorrow to keep going with Champ U. Gonna have some barbecue with the athletes.
Nice.
Get the pitch in on that. I'm gonna tell them ask for the surge protector ranking and see if they can flip.
Hunter's
flip
working
their
on a
chip in.
logo that we'll be able to reveal a logo tomorrow night. So
Hey, appreciate it, Colin, man.
I got you. All right.
Have a good night, man. Yeah, Alyssa Parker is really good. We actually interviewed Alyssa.
and Kai Minor.
and Kai Minor.
And Lexi McDaniel.
I think that was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago, Jay, right when
Yeah.
they committed.
Yeah.
Y'all can go check them out on our page, on our Student Surge YouTube videos.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Man, good stuff. Always is. Jay, I'm going to go read up on some stuff. I'm going to go read up on some stuff about all this.
How you feeling about Thunder, though?
I think they're going to win game 2. I mean, it's a must win.
Thunder, 18-2 coming off a loss this year.
It's a must win, Jay. It's a must win.
Let me get a trivia real quick.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and delete many things. Oh, someone already beat me to it. No, they didn't. There it is. Powerful are never going to let the pin. Look, I see. Yeah, Jay Will has to play. Although yesterday, 16 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 0 turnovers. He didn't play horribly. He just didn't shoot well in the first half. He was pretty good in the fourth. It was the lack of Chet, and guys, they lost because 56-39 on the glass. Shouldn't have went small. Bad decision. Oh, 3 eyeball emojis, Bo Bentley. We might have to lock Surge Protect this thing. Can't wait for the logo to reveal the logo for Surge Protected, as we will reveal that tomorrow night. Thunder play on Sunday because there are 2 days off in between games, all during the finals except for between game 5 and 6. Or is it 4? I think it's between 5 and 6. There's just 1 day off. But, yeah, you have to defend the end of game. I mean, look, he's got good vision. You can't double him. There's no need to double him. You just got to have Dort on him. Dort's pretty much like 2 defenders. So,
hey, here's a trivia question tonight. This is kind of go off basic what we've been talking about a little bit, not really though. But before we do, fan stop. You see it. I mean, see the shirts behind me. You got this hat, but they did just win the College World Series, but still, it's always hook 'em around here. Not hook 'em, horns down. Sorry. Well, I did the gig 'em thing. But check out the fan stop, thefanstop.com. Code Surge, 10% off your first 3 months. Sign up. Father's Day around the corner. Get them signed up. Here's a trivia question tonight. What car in the SMU scandal did Eric Dickerson was kind of like the known car that was his car as far as model?
Craig James was in that too, wasn't he, Jay?
Yeah, but this specific link to Eric Dickerson, do you know the model?
I do not, Jay, but I have a guess.
What would your guess be?
I have an absolute guess.
What would your guess be? I'm not going to tell if you're right or wrong.
What?
What would your guess be?
Starts with an E.
Yeah, right here's the correct answer. Trans Am.
No, I was wrong.
Hey, Jimmy, Trans Am, and then Hall of Fame actually gets the 287. He gets it 280-07X. So we'll give that to there. So both Trans Am, man. I like Trans Ams. Do you?
You don't see him anymore, Jay. Hey,
no.
This house settlement stuff is going to it's going to lend itself to discussion for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be good. I just want to say again, thanks everyone for being on here. Thanks to Daniel Brooks for giving a few minutes of insight on just kind of the back pay to former athletes. And thanks everyone who called into our channel. Appreciate it very much. Hit the like before you leave, and we will see everyone tomorrow night. Have a super Saturday, Student Nation.